What's up, everybody? It's Kenya, and welcome to Outer Space. You're in the car with me again today. On my way to the T-Mobile store because my cell phone has just dialed its last day, honey. It's finished. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys briefly about the Dark Girls movie that was on last night. If you're not familiar, Dark Girls is a documentary about dark-skinned African-American women. And the producers of the movie did a documentary, and they were asking kind of, is it different to be a dark-skinned black woman than it is to be a light-skinned black woman? What is the actual experience of dark-skinned black women versus the experience of light-skinned black women? And I was ecstatic that someone was even addressing the topic. I was ecstatic that someone was bringing a voice to a phenomenon that I know exists. I know that there is a difference in perception and experience between dark-skinned and light-skinned women. I've known that since I was old enough to know that I was dark-skinned. So I was really happy that someone chose to take this topic on. And I think the movie was tastefully done. I'm not going to spoil the movie. A lot of things in the movie, of course, are kind of common sense. But it's just good that someone brought a voice to it. But what I do want to discuss is the comments that I'm seeing about the movie. Now, let me say this. You know, as people of color, as women, as gay people, as any minority that exists, you know, we're not in competition with each other. You know, Dark Girls is not a movie that is trying to say that the experience of African American women who are darker complected is worse or better than the experience of African American women who are lighter complected. That's not it. It's not better than, worse than. It's just different. And I think that I'm getting a little annoyed because I'm seeing so many fair-skinned black women making comments about the movie, talking about their own individual struggles. Like, oh, it's not any easier to be light-skinned, and you guys need to let it go, and it's not all is cracked up to be light-skinned. And realistically, I don't know the answer to that question because I'm not light-skinned, I never will be. But what I will say is that it's an opportunity for dark girls to express how their experience has been in the world. And we're not mad at light-skinned women. That's not what it is. It's just that this was our own personal experience. And I think that there should be space for people to express their experience without having to defend it. And so that was something that kind of struck me as kind of disappointing, that I felt like, you know, when I wanted to see the movie, a lot of my lighter complected friends were like, I just wish you guys would let that go, or don't you know it was hard to be light skinned too? And the reality is, it's hard to be black, it's hard to be a woman, it's hard to be overweight, it's hard to be a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? But this is the documentary about the dark girls, and let the dark girls have their moment. Another thing that was kind of disturbing to me is I saw a lot of people talking about how, you know, their parents told them they were beautiful, and so they don't understand why dark-skinned women have these complexes, because if your parents told you were beautiful, then you should just know that you're beautiful for the rest of your life. And I take major issues with that, because if you saw the movie, you realize that it isn't about what your parents said, you know. And I'll just speak for myself. My mother was a dark-skinned woman. She was part of, you know, a lot of like racial justice movements. She told me I was the most beautiful chocolate brown thing that she had ever seen in her life, and that she never stopped telling me that. But that didn't matter when I was at school dances or high school dances or whatever, and I was interested in a boy, and the boys that I were interested in were not interested in me because of my hair texture and my skin tone. So it isn't about, you know, what your parents did. Of course, your parents are going to do all they can to instill that you're beautiful within you. But when you're older and you're looking for a partner, you know, it's important that you're attractive to other people. And, you know, so, and I just want to put that out there because that was disturbing to me. Like, you know, it's not that all dark-skinned, all of our mothers were like, oh, you're a black ugly. No, of course our moms loved us and our dads may have lifted us up too. But when we were looking for a partner, we may not have gotten that response. And, you know, and I also think that it's very important to make the distinction between ugly and ignored. So my experience was I was never ugly. You know, I got teased in school about my hair because my mother didn't believe in relaxing my hair. So I had braids in my hair very early. But when I took my braids out, I always had long hair. I always had long, healthy hair. So I got teased about having braids, but I knew that underneath my braids, you know, my hair was longer and healthier than anybody else's. So I didn't really care. But I found that when it came to the opposite sex, or, you know, now that I live my life now as a same-sex attracted person. I should have just said gay. Why did I say same-sex attracted? Anyway, I never have felt ugly so much as I felt invisible. I felt invisible. I felt like when I go to clubs, when I go out in social events, it's not so much that, you know, I am unattractive. It's just that people don't notice me at all. You know, people are not coming up to me. If they do come up to me to try to talk to me, they come up to me and try to talk to me and say that they're interested in a friend of mine or something like that. And, you know, that could be because I'm engaged and they know that. I don't really know. But when you have a history of being overlooked, or you have a history of, you know, people not seeing you as beautiful, them seeing you as smart, or them seeing you as sexy, or them seeing you as exotic, and not seeing you as just a beautiful girl, like, every woman wants to feel beautiful. You know, of course, okay, I have a great body. That's wonderful. But I don't want to be a sex object. I want to be a beautiful girl. And I feel like for a lot of African American women that are dark skinned, we've had to learn to be beautiful. And what I mean by that is we've had to kind of go out in society and be cognizant of the fact that there are going to be so many other people that do not see our beauty and then just decide that we're beautiful anyway. You know, just kind of make that choice. Like, yes, I am invisible to people that I'm attracted to. And yes, you know, there aren't really any images of me on television or in the media. And yes, you know, all the leading ladies on the TV shows are light-skinned women or biracial women. But I'm beautiful anyway. I'm just going to have to learn how to feel that way about myself. And I do think it makes for a strong person. It makes for a strong woman. But at the same time, like, don't act like African American women who are dark skinned have pulled this phenomenon out of our butts. We haven't. This has been our experience, and for some of us, it's still our experience. I know for me, like, you know, as I've gotten older, I've learned to just kind of give people the benefit of the doubt and not assume that, you know, when I was in the service industry, that I didn't get certain jobs because I was dark skinned or because my hair was natural or because whatever. I've had to just pretend like that dynamic doesn't exist. But the reality is it does. It exists. It's a real thing. And of course, we can all choose to play into it as much as we want, and we don't have to make it who we are, but it is a part of who we are. And I do think that that it's time for us to have a very honest dialogue, and I do think that it can be a two-sided dialogue, but I want lighter skinned women to know that this movie and whatever the opinions of dark skinned African American women is not an attack on you. It's just an account of what we've gone through. And having felt invisible for so long, I think that it's about time that there's a spotlight put on this particular population of African American society. So that's my opinion on the movie and the whole colorism dialogue. So post your comments. Bye.